Hi, and welcome. So I thought with all the excitement about the supposed next dragon book by Paolini coming out this year, it would be fun to talk about Eragon as a person. So if you have not read the first Eragon book yet, you'll want to save this video for later because it will have major spoilers, but only for book one. This video is about why Saphira chose Eragon. Because the dragon chooses the rider. They don't have to hatch for anybody, they get to decide. And it might seem strange that this ancient and wise creature would choose a teenage boy to be her rider. I think there's a lot of good reasons, and no, none of them are because the author was a teenage boy. That may have been an influence, but I just read Eragon again after not having read it for a very long time, and there were some things that stood out to me about the character that I think make him a good choice as a dragon rider, and why Saphira specifically chose him. Saphira was in her egg a long time, over 100 years. For a long time, she was a captive of Galbatorix. She was aware of this, and she was not going to be hatching for anyone that Galbatorix sent her. In fact, from what I understand from some things I was reading online, she chose not to hatch for Eragon right away because she was worried this might be a trick of Galbatorix. But she was rescued. She was ferried between the Varden and the elves also for a long time. She was exposed to very many brave and worthy elves and humans. A lot of them would have made excellent writers. Arya herself, for instance. Why didn't Saphira choose Arya? I do have a video when I first started this channel of why Arya would make a better main character than Eragon. You can check that out after this if you're interested. But despite all those people that she was exposed to, she still chose Eragon. She chose the human farm boy. Why? So I have several reasons, but this first one I think is probably the main one, and that is that he was pure and untainted and had no influences from the outside world like the Varden or the elves or Galbatorix. None of them have had their fingers on Eragon trying to influence him. Eragon did not try to get her to hatch. He didn't even know there was a dragon inside of this beautiful blue stone. He had no ulterior motives. He had no one controlling him. He didn't have big dreams of, if I can just get this egg hatched for me, I will be a dragon rider. I will change history. I'll be a hero. There was none of that self-focused thinking, and there were no previous ties on Eragon. He is an independent agent in the world, which, when hatched and bonded to him, would give Saphira herself some agency. She and her rider would be a team. They would get to decide their future themselves. There wouldn't have been someone already deciding for her before she's even hatched. At least, once they get to Angela, she says they're free to choose their future, their destiny. Which, if Saphira had hatched for almost anyone else, that would not have been the case. She would not have been a free dragon. I do feel bad for Saphira though, because if she had hatched under the normal circumstances, there would have been older, wiser dragons there for her from the start, just like there used to be in olden times. There would have been people there teaching Eragon how to bond with her. She didn't get what she should have had if things had been the way they were supposed to be. If there hadn't been some evil king controlling things. But I think the book also reveals some other things intrinsic to Eragon that make him a strong choice for Saphira. We see through Brom's training that Eragon picks up magic and the sword very quickly. Brom mentions that it must take a strong arm to pull Eragon's bow, so he is already physically strong. The fact that he can use and control to a certain extent magic already this early shows that he has a very strong mind, strong self-control. But Eragon wasn't the only boy living in, I almost said Emond's Field because I just made a Wheel of Time video. Carvajal. Eragon was not the only boy living in Carvajal. There are other boys who could have been out hunting in the spine and found her egg, but there's probably some hidden talent in his genetics. We know his Carvajal blood is strong. We learn about Selena, how she was a special help to Morzan, and he was able to teach her little bits of magic. We know Garo is strong and stubborn and capable, and if Eragon gets a little bit of what Garo and Selena had, he's off to a strong start. Then there's whatever unknown inheritance he gets from his father, which we don't know who that is at this point. But Eragon also does what no other boys in Carvajal do, and that is go hunting in the spine. He is unusual for doing this. Most people are too afraid to venture into those mountains. So he is either more brave or just less afraid. Either way, he goes when no one else does. So it's not only the fact that he was in the spine when Saphira's egg appeared, but going there regularly makes him stronger. Stalking prey in dangerous mountains requires physical strength. If he takes down a deer 3 days from home, he's gonna have to carry that thing back, plus all of his supplies that he had to carry to make it 3 days away from home. It also takes patience, a mental discipline, and then later he's good at magic, which is a mental discipline. See where I'm getting at here? And then there's grit. This is probably a normal Carvajal thing, but also for Eragon, who hunts in the dangerous mountains, grit being that determination not to give up, even when it's hard, even when he fails at first. And we know later when he's training with the sword and with magic, he has grit. He does not give up, even when it's hard, and even when he makes some stupid mistakes, according to Brom. But what about the Varden? They have a hard life. They're probably as tough as Eragon. They do have some lean seasons. They do have it tough, but they do have regular resupplies. They know that food is coming to them. They don't have to go out and hunt it. As for the elves, they're not going to understand what true hunger is, nor are they going to have to rely on their hunting ability. If you've only read book 1, you will learn more about elves later, but they are well capable of feeding themselves. Eragon knows that if he goes home empty-handed, he and his family will go hungry. Eragon, I believe, has a strong self-reliance, a strong survival instinct, and courage. I think that when Saphira, in her egg, feels Eragon and finally trusts that it's not a trick of Galbatorix, that it's just this boy, this pure, courageous, strong boy, I think she probably feels relief. Finally, her time to hatch has come. The time of dragons has returned. And then later in the book, Saphira tells Eragon that Brom said he thought Eragon was the best person that Saphira could have hatched for. Seems like high praise from someone like Brom, especially when he was kind of hard on Eragon during their training. I think I'm probably also going to make a video on Brom. I do have that video on Arya that you can go check out after this. And you can tell me, because I'm sure I didn't get everything, what qualities do you think made Eragon stand out and make him qualified to be a dragon rider? Or, conversely, why do you think he was the wrong choice? Do you think Saphira could have done better? Let me know what you think. Subscribe here for more bookish content like this, and I'll see you next time. Bye!